The Morning Brew podcast with Jaffe and Razor, sponsored by Berkshire Bank Home Lending. Where you borrow matters. And welcome into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor after the Boston Bruins win in overtime 2-1 over the Tampa Bay Lightning in what was a very fun, energetic, playoff vibe type of game. And we remind you that, yes, Berkshire Bank is our presenting sponsor, but this episode is also brought to you by the people at Bay State Brewing, Fazenda Coffee, and Max Pro Hockey. We will talk about all of them a little bit later, and we thank everybody for supporting the show and our listeners for supporting our partners. Great stuff. All right, speaking of great stuff, let's get right to it. Linus, don't call me Linus. Linus is a goalie's name. Linus, it wouldn't sound the same, right? Linus Ullmark sounds like a nice starting goaltender. Linus, well, you think of Peanuts.
Charlie Brown.
But all kidding aside, a lot of great stuff from this game. But Razor, Linus Ullmark, the way I described it on the show post-game was, he was very effective in his crease, very few times outside of the post. And for somebody that we talked about regularly, not looking as smooth as, comparing him to Tuukka or others, I didn't find that he had a lot of clunkiness at all to his game. I thought it was as smooth of an effort we've seen from him all season long.
I agree, and I think he's gotten there, and I think there's still, but there's his hands didn't move very much, and we've seen a lot of olays with his gloves, and we've seen some of that, but there was 3 or 4 blocker saves where he just had his hands up and he just let it hit him and it went to the corner, and then he went and followed it to the corner. So it seems as though he's. Mm-hmm. And he talked a lot about it himself, just like how personally it took him a while to get settled into North America. It took him a while to get settled into Buffalo. It took him a while to get settled in. And it feels as though it might have taken him a couple months to get settled in here. But he certainly feels comfortable. He does his interviews really well. Him and Swayman have their hug, and he does it even when he's not playing. But he's been a bit of an assassin here himself. We talked about Swayman competing and taking the nets everywhere he's gone, but Ullmark's done that a little bit himself here in the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And tonight was a big one for him personally, and for him to get that win on the back of another Swayman loss this week, it's setting himself up here for the next couple of weeks.
He now is 23-9-2. His save percentage dips to, I think it's 2.6. His goals against 2.6, and his save percentage a little, 9-11 now, 9-12. It is some good stuff. 6-0 in his last 6. Now, let me just read you the teams, though. This is that he's won, that he's beaten in the last 5 before this Tampa game. And I'm not taking anything away from these other teams, Razor. I just think that, this was such a good performance by him because of who it was against and on the road and without Pastrnak and Hampus Lindholm. So his last 5 games previous to this one, wins over Columbus, over New Jersey, over the Islanders, Winnipeg, and Chicago. Now, a lot of them were close games. Winnipeg, not bad team. The Islanders, not bad. Not playoff teams, though. And he wins all of them nicely, only gives up 3 goals once, the game against the Islanders where the Bruins still win. But this game against Tampa, to give up just 1 goal to the Tampa Bay Lightning and facing 5 power plays, it was really 4 point something because one of them was a truncated power play. But to make some big-time saves, especially Razor, in the first period, this was as mentally as sharp a game to go along with as physically sharp a game that I think I've seen out of Linus Ullmark this year.
Yes, and with that schedule, the Winnipeg was back-to-back. So they played in Minnesota the night before. Tough. He's had the tougher starts. And we talked about it early in the season where he was taking the Edmonton games. He was taking the Toronto games on the road. He was taking the Carolinas at home. And that's, you can explain his numbers in comparison to Swayman in a lot of those scenarios. He was taking the back-to-backs and all he was taking the second half of all the back-to-backs and the road games. And yes, the Columbus, the New Jerseys, the Islanders, he probably only should have given up one goal, but it got a little sloppy at the end, so he gives up a couple extra. He had the Anaheim game back-to-back where he lost that game on the road. So
late in the game, too.
Late, like with 35 seconds left on the McAvoy power play. So I'm not going to talk his last 5 games away because I think he's had such a tough schedule in comparison the entire season. So yes, you can look at that a little bit, but you could also look at anyone's 8 games.
Situational. I get
Yes, anyone who wins 8 games in a row in the NHL, you're going to have a few cupcakes in the middle of it to keep it going.
Right.
Is all I'm saying.
I mean, look, I know that some of them, Chicago played the Bruins tough. I mean, we talked about during Morning Brew about how some of those games are harder for teams to get up for, the whole discrepancy between in and out of the playoffs. Regardless, you still have to play the game in front of you.
Yeah.
That's it. The game right there, you still got to win it. He's done it. All right, now let's get into this discussion. Do you have to start him on Sunday? It's an afternoon game in Washington. Bruins travel to Tampa, from Tampa to Washington, not that long of a flight, but right after the game, getting in, 1 o'clock or so in the morning. They practice at 1 p.m. at the Capitals Arena on Saturday, and then it's a 1 o'clock game on Sunday. I don't think you have to start him. As much as I'm not saying he hasn't earned it, but I don't think you have to start him for a couple reasons. One, got a lot of good hockey coming up too, all right? 3 home games, coming up at home. I wouldn't be against them starting Swayman on the Sunday afternoon game, second of a back-to-back for the Washington Capitals too. They play Saturday and then Sunday afternoon. Get Swayman back in there. And then you look to Linus and you're like, Linus, you could run these 3 games at home if need be. You get Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I mean, not looking too far ahead because I don't think the Bruins are doing that. And you know what? I want you almost to say to him, look, man, you were fantastic. Go out and have an easy practice on Saturday. Work on a little of this, just a little, I feel the 18-minute sweat type of thing. And then you've earned the day off in a good way on Sunday. And then we're putting you back in Tuesday and get ready for a home run. That's the way I look at it. Do you see similar, or do you say, screw you, Billy, you're a schmuck forward? This is what I think.
I wanted to say, and I was 100% saying you're a schmuck forward, screw you, Billy, no matter. And I was thinking that prior to us turning on the cameras, when we actually thought we were going to talk about this, I thought there was no way you were going to have an argument that could sway me off of this, pardon the pun. I really didn't want to do that. It came out of my mouth. But the way you said that, yes, I could see that. But it has to be. So yes, is possible. 2 reasons why I'm going against that is, one, if he had played the last 4 games, and then it's an easy sell. If he had played the last 4 games in a row, it's an easy sell. All right, we're going to give the kid the game in the afternoon. You take the day off. You take the next 2 days off on the road, have a nice dinner in DC, go to Georgetown, hang out, have a night.
Yep.
Good. The other reason is that for the first time since I can remember, was Bruce Cassidy was asked who was playing Friday night. So let's say it's the Thursday press conference, maybe Wednesday, could have been Thursday. Bruce Cassidy talks about the goaltending. For the first time in a long time, they asked him who's playing Friday night. It's Ullmark, and we're not sure who's going to play Sunday. For the first time, it wasn't a Swayman-centric schedule. Okay. Which is what makes me feel like they're going to go back to Swayman again, because it was the first time I'd heard them.
Back to Ullmark, you mean?
Back to Ullmark on Sunday, because it was the first time I'd heard Cassidy all season not have a schedule set up for Swayman where he left it open-ended for Ullmark to actually take a start. So
Right.
that's why I wasn't thinking you'd be able to take me off of my point. You kind of did, because you're right. It is kind of a shitty start as a goaltender at this point, the end of a road trip, an afternoon game. Even though it's a playoff team, it doesn't really count because the playoffs are already set. So yes, but if you're going to do that, you have to tell Ullmark he's going to get Tuesday, Thursday at this point, no matter what
Right.
Swayman does.
Well, yeah, I think you reward them with
Yeah.
the extra communication.
Yes.
So right there.
Yeah.
By the way, Linus has played both games previously against the Washington Capitals and has won both of them. I don't know if that is the most important factor in the decision. I mean, look, I'm not going to be unhappy if the guy plays, but I'm almost thinking it's a reward for him and a compliment to him to say, we love you. We're thrilled that you've gotten to this, into this groove, but you get your Sunday off and then get ready for Tuesday, get ready for a home. I mean, geez, he could play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Yeah.
He could.
No,
I mean,
I don't mind your angle. I thought it was going to be mumbo jumbo, but I don't mind your angle. So,
well, most of my shit is mumbo jumbo. I think everybody's learned by now in my decade with the Nesson telecast and other stuff. But anyways, it's just an interesting thing. All right. So we talk goaltending, good stuff. Really
just quickly though, the point of all of this is that this is going to get interesting. And it's going to be interesting all the way through the playoffs, who's starting, who isn't, something that Bruins fans haven't had to deal with for maybe 20 years, 20 plus.
And by the way, continues to be one of the best things to happen for Jeremy Swayman too. As much as he enjoys, playing, and as much as he overtly enjoys watching Linus Ullmark play and supports him and all that, this will continue to fuel the fire. This will also take off a little pressure from him if Linus can continue to play like this. And it's not gonna hurt his trajectory or his growth. If anything, it's gonna help it. It's gonna be like, okay, you don't need to play 3 out of 4. You play 2 out of 4, 1 out of 4, whatever. And the next year, and I'm getting way too ahead, but you continue to mature the right way. We don't throw you into the fire.
And you don't get away with making sloppy passes behind the net. You don't get away with being sloppy with your rebounds. You don't let bad habits like John Gibson creep into your game, and then all of a sudden you lose 12 in a row, 5 goals a game, and all of a sudden you don't know what to do. This is accountability.
Ullmark made 10 saves while the Bruins were shorthanded in this game. 10. This is a power play, folks, that came into the game 43% in their previous 7, Tampa Bay. Now, Tampa has struggled. They've been up and down, and they're on a 3-game losing streak, 0-2-1 coming into this game. They're now 0-3-1. But their power play had been one really good constant for the last 7. And holy shit, they got one 2 minutes and 18 seconds into the game, the Riley penalty. And then Ullmark made 3 awesome saves. He made a couple of others. He had some just great chances in general, but 10 saves on the PK. The old cliche, your goalie needs to be your best penalty killer, completely came through in this match tonight against Tampa. So good stuff from Linus. Want to move on just to the play overall of the team, and then I want to talk Jake DeBrusk, because it's probably the best game I've seen him play this year, Razor. I would say the best overall game that he's played. He's had games where he scored 2 goals. He's had games where he scored 3. He had 1-1 in this game. I'll get to it again, but I just think it was the best game that he played. But the team, listen, besides Tampa coming out hard, which I think I expected them to come out ferocious in the first couple of minutes, given that their coach, John Cooper, said this is a pivotal game. That's a nice way for saying get your asses going. That's what he talked to the guys about in the room the last day or so. The Bruins handled it. They then, in the first period, I really just liked the way that they got into a rhythm. They settled down after, again, Tampa really got going. And 11-10 were the shots in the first period, and the Bruins had some good chances of their own. You have to get the puck deep on Tampa. If you allow their big D to play you straight up and half wall and stuff like that, you're going to be in trouble. But I'm not convinced they're as quick when you get them deep in their own zone. They remind me they're better than Washington was last year. But do you remember how we talked regularly, Razor, about having to play Washington down low below their own goal line because they're D to turn them and stuff? I think they miss Ryan McDonagh an awful lot, but I think that might be an area where you can have some success against them.
Yes, I agreed. I think they've proven the last 2 years anyways, they've been harder to get it in behind them because they do a great job stopping you at the line, stopping you in the neutral zone. They get back and get it, the McDonaghs of the world. But yes, the Bruins proved that they're susceptible back there where you can work them down low. And I think it's also a huge nod to the Bruins cycle game at this point in the season and what the three lines, especially the top three lines, can do off the cycle. And I know that second line's a rush line, but Taylor Hall can also buzz around the outsides, and what he's done for that line, he can get out there and they're not doing it with power, they're doing it with quickness. It's a different look than Charlie Coyle, but it's the same idea. So yes, Tampa Bay definitely looks weak back there, and McDonagh, but they're at the point you can start questioning their tiredness. You can question their flip a switch ability as this goes on over this month. It's really quite interesting over an 82 game schedule,
isn't it? Yeah, I mean, and an 82 game schedule coming off of two. Yes, they were shorter seasons, but they were put together
back to back. Yeah, it was so much hockey.
So, I thought they actually looked good tonight, Tampa. I don't think John Cooper's going to be upset about this one. I don't.
No.
You want to win. You want to win. But I thought for the most part, I thought they played pretty damn good. I still didn't notice Kucherov a lot. I noticed him in the first period, and then I saw him in the third or late in the overtime, but I didn't notice him a lot. I thought he was a little weak on the coverage and on the game-winning goal. He can be petulant, spoiled.
Yes, he looks petulant right now.
But man, oh man, is he a good player. I mean, his numbers are sparkling. But
so good.
A couple of things. You mentioned Taylor Hall. Without Pastrnak on that line, he is the sole driver of that line. Hall is going to be the man in the middle, supporting, helping, hopefully finishing. McLaughlin got in and played a little under 10 minutes. He actually had that, golden opportunity early in the game where the puck bounced right to him. A good shot. I mean, did everything he should, except could score. But without Pastrnak there, Hall becomes the ultimate transporter of the puck. And I thought he did a pretty good job of that in this game. I don't want to call it a solo mission. I'm not taking away from the other guys, but that's really what it is with regard to moving the puck through the neutral zone with that line.
Yes, when he doesn't have that, when they can double team him, essentially, that's what's happening. It's similar to, and I don't know if we're going to get to the power play, but it's similar to what the power play looks like when Pasta's not there. They can, it's like they're just chasing the puck the whole time because there's no valve. There's no valve that the Bruins can go to. That's kind of what Taylor Hall is dealing with. He's playing out there without that valve that they can pressure him more, but he fought through it. He skated through it. He played through it. I thought it was quite impressive.
Impressive was Jake DeBrusk too. A goal and an assist, +2, 5 shots. He wasn't credited with any hits, which I found interesting. But I mean, I thought he was noticeably involved. I thought, and I put this out on Twitter, the best game this season with regard to speed, puck touches, physicality. Now, but again, it wasn't crushing people, but he was there. But his defensive awareness was excellent in this game. Made a great play late in the game, nullifying point in front of the goal. Great play. He played 1 minute and 4 seconds shorthanded. He got some power play time too, 1 minute and 5 seconds. Bruins didn't have many power play chances in the game. I just think that he has found, and by the way, the fact that he did it against a really good team, I think adds to the best game of the year, hyperbole. I just think that who he did it against and how he did it all game, Razor, he's found a level of confidence that you continue to say, I mean, I'm so happy for him. We don't need to go back to what we talked about recently about is he going to be here or not, because that doesn't matter right now. It doesn't matter. But the fact is he has found another gear, a mature game that even when he scored 27 goals years ago, it was not this complete of a game. Good for him. good for him finding that and being more than an effective but an impactful player right now.
Yeah, and to the hit point, I mean, on Coyle's goal in overtime, he knocks point off the puck behind the net,
Yep.
and just that simple little play, whether it's a hit or not. I mean, it, 2 months ago, he gets knocked off the puck, and they go down and score 3-on-1 down at the other end in overtime.
He might not even be close enough to get knocked off the puck. Being serious, he might
Yeah,
not. Might be a foot away.
and he scores in the big The celebration thing is so interesting to me.
Yeah.
So interesting to me how we've gone from scoring goals and putting our head down at the end of December to fist pumping, jumping on the glass, windmill, circling, edge work to tonight. It is. I think we can just look at that like that. It's as simple as that. Like you don't even have to do the hitting and the forecheck and the defensive play. It's like the attitude that this guy, the 180 attitude this guy's had, is like none other I've ever seen. I so wish I could really know what was going on in that room and really know how that whole thing has been playing out, because my just watching on TV, it's amazing. Like when he celebrated after his goal tonight, I was like, what is going on? Like I really couldn't. All I can think about is him scoring in Ottawa and putting his head down. That's all I can think about. And how he's gotten to this point is, I'm so intrigued. Whether it was a talk with Bruce or a talk with Don or this contract, like it's.
I think it may be an $8 million smile. It might be. There may be something to that, and I'm really not being a smartass. Meaning, he knows he's got, I don't want to say security, but he knows that he's set. Again, maybe he just kept saying, well, yeah, I know where I'm going to be now. I'm good. I'm fine, and I'm better with it. Maybe it is just as simple as he kept thinking he could get traded. He realized he's going to be here, and he gets a new contract, and now he's playing with Brad and Patrice. And so he says, you know what? Screw it. I mean, it just go out and just play. But
yeah.
Maybe.
I know. Again, all of these things added, like could be any of these things. It could be, maybe he really didn't want to get traded, but he felt like he had to get traded, and he felt like he needed all these things, and now he's got everything he wanted. Now he doesn't want to get traded, but he doesn't want to say that because like there's all of the drama of this story is so fascinating to me, and it's listen, if he plays like that, it's a different team.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a different level that these guys get to if he does this.
Yeah, and
it's that simple. Like it's crazy that the Bruins are on the edge of this and teeter-tottering on this. But if he plays like this and David comes back, I mean, holy smokes!
The best thing that could happen for this team is if he just does, and then it puts him into a quandary in the off season. But you deal with that then. You don't need to deal with it anymore now. Meaning he is where he is right now. And as of right now, 7 goals, I think, in his last 7 games? Good shit, man. Really good shit. Good stuff. A couple of more things to get to. But before we do, let's touch on our partners, our sponsors for this show. I don't know if on the YouTube side of things, maybe you're seeing Razor and I enjoying a certain beverage. And this is from Bay State Brewing, and it's their Mike Light. They've got so many different type of beers that they brew. They're out of Worcester, and their brewery is at 112 Harding Street in Worcester. And but we're enjoying one of their beers. They've got so many of them. Razor, you were over there. I don't know if you got a chance to look at all the handles and everything they got, and they got great looking cans. I got some behind me too. IPAs, double IPAs. One of the fun ones. Hold on. Is called Becky Likes the Smell.
I was intrigued with that one.
Yes, an IPA, and there's stories behind it. So go to baystatebrewing.com, check it out, and check out their their brewery too in Worcester. Indoor and outdoor seating. They got video games, windows to watch live hockey. Razor, you were there. They've got 2 rinks, not one, but 2 rinks attached to it. So
great
nice
setup.
Viewing.
Awesome setup right downtown Worcester. They got all there's everyone. The place was packed for lunch. People were hanging out. They've got hockey. I mean, minor hockey all over. It's awesome. Really nice setup. Good place.
They got a full kitchen with pizza and salads and house-made mac and cheese and so many other good things. They've been brewing, handcrafting distinctive and drinkable beers since 2012. It's Bay State Brewing. Check them out either at their place or online. And I'm telling you, this Mike Light, this was actually made, it says right on the can, raising eyebrows on the craft brew scene. And if anybody knows about raising eyebrows, it's me with mine. We designed this beer for their hockey friends who were asking for a crisp, light, and refreshing, thirst-quenching, restorative beer. This is delicious. No bullshit, man. This is a delicious beer.
I like this one.
So go check that out. Speaking of delicious, Fazenda Coffee and Fazenda Roasters in Dedham brews beautiful coffees, both whole bean and ground. You can find them all over the Boston area at Whole Foods or at Davio's, restaurants and cafes everywhere. Go to fazendacoffee.com, use Morning Brew at checkout, and get 15% off your order. Tomorrow, actually, you know what? Tomorrow morning, I think I got to do radio, so I don't think it'll be a nice pot of coffee, but Sunday, we'll have a big pot of coffee. I might open up the French roast from them. So fazendacoffee.com, check them out. And lastly, Razor, you're a former NHLer. You've got kids that are playing. You understand how important it is to train instead of just play hockey, meaning, of course, you want to have fun, but train. I don't know if there's anybody better in the area than Max Pro. Max Grachev at Max Pro Hockey has really put together great programs, opportunities for kids. Go to maxprohockey.com. They have got summer camps. They've got spring camps. They've got individual, private, group lessons, and then team development programs, even during the season. maxprohockey.com. I know you're somebody that you look for a former pro Razor. I think you take the right approach with your kids. You're not pushing them too much. I'm trying not to push mine too much, except for when it's time to practice, meaning go out and do it the right way. Max does a great job of it. You've been to his clinics. You understand what it's about.
No, Max is the best. My guys love it. They have so much fun there. And yes, it's not about necessarily the 5 games in a random weekend in the middle of July. It's about getting on the ice with a guy like Max who has the energy. The music's playing. They're working on skills. If you did that every day, you don't even have to play a game the entire season, in my opinion. So yeah, he's awesome. Great person.
He is a great person. Go check out maxprohockey.com, and thank you again to all of our sponsors. How good? I mean, you want to talk about a guy that has spent some time with a skills coach, but also brought upon himself to just elevate to another all-world level. Brad Marchand. Did you see some of those plays that he had? I mean, just a masterclass, continues to be a masterclass in stick handling and body positioning and spatial awareness. 4 shots in the game, 2 giveaways, but that's when you have the puck on your stick. I mean, that's the kind of shit that's going to happen. He also
probably on the power play too, those giveaways.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, let's touch on the power play. Look, I thought Brad was awesome. Actually, I thought Patrice. Again, I actually thought the Bruins centers were really good. Charlie Coyle, not just the goal, but over 20 minutes. Patrice was excellent again, and thankfully only played a little over 16 minutes. Tomasz Nosek, real good, and Haula. Again, that line was a little different without David Pastrnak, and I'm being facetious. But still, like, they had some good noticeability to it. So I like the centers. The power play, though, without David, without having that offside one-timer, Razor.
No,
I mean, it's just
we've seen it though. It's with any of those guys out. It was bad when Patrice was out. It was bad when Brad was out. It's really bad with David out. Like really, really bad with David because they don't have anyone that can shoot the puck.
Right.
There's no shot that's threatening. And
they can't. It's hard. They have a hard time because they don't have that guy on the flank, meaning David, to use the bumper for Patrice to get an
because
open shot.
There's no separate. They don't get spread out. Yeah,
right.
They just overload. You work that overload, and everybody they just put 4 guys in the corner and smash it out. And you can't go to an umbrella because no one can shoot the puck hard enough from the umbrella without David. So it's really, I mean, it's glaring how no one can shoot the puck if he's not out there, and it's easy to cover.
People forget had a great one-timer, David Krejci.
Yes.
Krejci.
They put Krejci over there when David was out. And you could still use him. Charlie
exactly.
Coyle, it's not a threat. I mean,
Not
he's
him.
not. He
It's
can't
not.
hit a
And,
one-timer. And
no.
again, it's about footwork. It's about how you put your body. It's about Max Pro stuff. It's how you. It's not one-timer from where that pass comes from on the umbrella. Isn't just about how hard you shoot the puck. It's how you set your body up. It's how you set your feet up. It's how you hit it properly. The timing of it. So, yeah, to your point, it's a great call because Krejci did.
Oh, he had a great one-timer.
It made people come out on him, and then it
Yeah.
opened other things up. But they have nothing. They have nothing. They have nothing
No.
on this power play now. I don't know
They have
what
not.
they can't do anything about it either. That's the issue.
They had 3 chances, three shots,
Yeah.
and 2 of them came at the end of their last one, and it was like under
Yeah, it was what
18 seconds left.
Riley from the blue line at the top,
Right.
and Vasilevsky had it completely open. Like you could shoot that
Right.
on me, and I'd make that save at this point.
Speaking of Mike Riley, 5 shots in the game, over 20 minutes, 6 hits, but yet he had 2 minor penalties too. He goes into a lot of battles with his stick off the ice and up. Too high sticking. And it's the old stick on the ice helps keep a lot of those kind of accidental penalties from happening. And, I don't know.
They're like Nick Foligno penalties right now. It's like the Nick Foligno forecheck penalty that's happening right now. It's very similar where, yes, you can say it's a bad call, or yes, you can say it's I can't believe they called that, but that's what it is now. And there's a bunch of guys in the league that aren't getting called with those penalties doing that job. So you have to adjust. And yes, that's what I was thinking with Riley tonight. It's like, man, yes, you're going into these battles, but you have to. Lindholm's not getting called for these. So what's the difference? What's the difference?
Stick on ice. Stick on ice. You got to go into the battles with your stick on the ice. I'm with you. I was intrigued by him. I mean, I've seen enough to say I want him on the left side, just like I don't want Forbert on the right side either anymore. Like left side only. And I want either Connor Clifton, who had a typical Cliffy hockey game, coming back into the lineup pretty good.
I know. And Forbert, listen, those penalty kills that you talked about, I just look at Forbert there on that left side. I feel like you need him in there. I just do. It feels like a Forbert Clifton. This is how it's going to set up.
Or Forbert and Brown. I need to see more of Josh Brown.
Yeah, fair.
I would expect to see Brown on Sunday, even though that means taking Clifton out. I would expect, and by the way, few players I thought that had really good games against Tampa. Brandon Carlo, really good, really effective stick work. He played .421 shorthanded. He had 5 hits. He was ready to be involved. I thought Curtis Lazar had a good game. Didn't see a ton, 12 and a half minutes, but he did his thing, and he had 3 block shots. So those 2 guys would be the guys that I would kind of pick out from. I didn't think Frederick had a great game. It didn't, not just the turnover that led to the first goal, the Belmar goal, but I think he looked a little bit slower, a little bit off. And maybe that's just being rusty, not playing a couple and then coming back. Awesome to see the kid back, though. I was really concerned. I think, he needs to play, I think, on Sunday. I think, just to get his legs back, his timing back again.
Yeah, no, it turns into he needs to go.
Yeah. So it was a real good game in the sense of it wasn't perfect, but it was Tampa third period thrust was excellent. Bruins handled it. They didn't give up a goal in the last minute of the period. Thank God. It felt like they could a few times, but they didn't. And therefore, they didn't allow momentum to be completely taken away. And overall, look, I fully admit it. I'd have been thrilled Razor with 1 point. I would have been, considering that no Hampus Lindholm, who's closer to playing, by the way, than David Pastrnak. I don't know what that means. I wouldn't play him Sunday. I wouldn't.
Not in the afternoon game. The afternoon game changes everything for me. I don't put anybody in there that's been out.
Right. I mean, you said it too. The situation, like Washington's not catching you with regard to. The only thing is, you're like, well, we could beat them, and we could be right there with, stay well above, or not well, but above.
You're looking
Tampa.
at the home ice too.
Right. But anyways, I don't know. We know Pasternak's not going to play. Lindholm, just a complete guess. I mean, what the heck do I know? Nothing. I would say likely not. Again, why maybe skate him on Sunday, let him feel that, and then play him Tuesday.
Well, and again, you've already talked about it. I mean, they're looking at Brown. They're looking at all these different pairings. The easiest way to look at all these different pairings is not have Lindholm in there. So that's just another opportunity if you want to look at it from that point of view as well.
Yeah, I don't want him playing at 98%. I want him at 100.
Yeah.
Right, if he's going to play right now.
Yeah,
I'd rather play
and to make sure that it's going to be 100% for the next 2 weeks too.
Yeah. All right. I think that's good. I mean, look, again, a good game. Charlie Coyle with the overtime winner and Jake DeBrusk with a beautiful goal to make it 1-0 before Pierre-Edouard Bellemare made it 1-1. And then we had a couple of posts. We had a couple of near misses. Coyle's goal was beautiful. When he got it to the front, didn't hesitate, and quickly got rid of the shot. Didn't allow the big cat Vasilevsky. Well, I was watching his glove razor. I was watching it a lot in this game.
What was it? Was it turned over or was it?
Well, we never had it right next to the post, at least that I noticed. But it was a little out, I thought, and I know it was out. I remember seeing a picture, a still of him facing McAvoy,
the Riley goal.
Coyle. Yeah, but that was because
the Riley
he was
shot.
Off the post. But that was a great shot, and he was deep. Vasilevsky was deep on that one, so Coyle made the right play and roofed it upstairs on him right there. Good game, fun game. Anything else you want to hit on before we wrap this one up, bud?
No, I mean it's they didn't lose 2 in a row again. These guys they're going to be a tough out. I know any matchup's tough, but for them they just don't lose 2 in a row. You don't lose 2 in a row in the playoffs. You're in the mix all the time. So good on them. Impressive win. It didn't don't order the rings. And if they had lost, I wouldn't have said anything either, but it was a good win.
It was a good one. Fun game all around. And
man, how much better is it at playing than Detroit and Columbus and all these other shitty teams too? That's kind of nice too.
It's great. And now you got a good team on Sunday. So Razor and I will be off for a couple of days. When I say off, meaning, well, we're not doing the game on Sunday because it is a national televised game. Razor's heading back to go do the NCAA championship as well. So he's there. And I'm heading back to the NHL Network for a couple of days. And then we will be back with you on Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor after Tuesday's game at home. That's against the St. Louis Blues. The upcoming schedule for the Bruins: Sunday in Washington in the afternoon, Tuesday at home against St. Louis, Thursday at home against Ottawa, and then Saturday, a week from tomorrow, as we record this, against the Pittsburgh Penguins in an afternoon game. So Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor will be with you after Tuesdays and Thursdays games. So the 12th and the 14th. This coming week, when Razor and I will sit down and chat again. In the meantime, everybody, please enjoy a beverage. If it's coffee, make it Fazenda. If it's a beer, well, you know what? Make it Bay State Brewing if you get a chance. I'm telling you, this Mike Light is awesome. It is great stuff. And go check out all their other stuff. Thank you to everybody for listening and for sponsoring us. Razor, have a wonderful time back in Bristol. And everybody, please find a way to not just enjoy your day, but enjoy your coffee.